SEO predictions for 2027. Today I'm joined with Charles Floate, and there's no better person that I want to kind of ask because over the years, obviously I've known you now for 15 years. By the way, happy 30th yesterday. But I've known you for a long time and you've always seemed to be 2 steps ahead of the game. There's always been systems and processes that you've brought to me that I've never heard of before, and I've gone, wowzers. And 12 months later, people are now talking about what you spoke about a long time back and stuff. So, and I know it's a hard question to ask, but what are your predictions for SEO next year, and how do you see things moving?
It's all based on AI default, basically. So as soon as Google changes from the traditional 10 blue links argument, and now it's 10 blue links plus AI overviews on the top, once that AI overview or AI mode becomes the default experience, it's going to change everything. And the current consensus, the current internal reporting from Google is it's Q4 2026. Now, I'm not 100% confident in their confidence in that deadline. I do think they'll probably end up delaying it. Is it going to be delayed a month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? We're not 100% sure. But I do believe 2027 will be the year that at least the US, for example, will default into some sort of AI experience for search.
Just let me stop you on that, right? So AI mode, I'm presuming everyone here will know about it with regards to what AI mode is. So you're saying, how do you know that Q4, that Google are looking to move over default to AI mode? And do you think they're going to do it? Is that going to be blanket for all searches?
So if you're a Google shareholder, you can listen to their quarterly earnings calls. And Google CEO Sundar Pichai gives out his timelines for various things happening. And he said in the last earnings call that Q4 2026 is the deadline for when they're trying to achieve AI as the default experience. Now, he didn't say AI mode or AI overviews. He just said AI as the default search experience. So you can take that as you wish. When it might not even be the case that the default experience that is the AI search experience is even available right now. They might not have even invented it yet. It might just be a new interface that suddenly comes. The AI itself might even invent the new layout. We don't know, right? However, their current consensus internally is that they are trying to achieve that by the end of this year. As soon as that happens, that basically changes the entire SEO industry, the entire landscape, all of the targeting. It will upend careers and jobs and to some extent people's value and worth, which I do think is going to be a massive shock to the industry. If AI already hasn't been a shock enough for a lot of the people out there that are being, content writers, editors, graphic designers, all of these kind of things that play a big role in SEO, it's already been a massive shock, but it will be an even bigger one once that becomes the case.
But would it be a big shock? Because there's certain people in the industry that says GEO is just SEO. So what would actually change? Or do you disagree and you believe that AI SEO is different to SEO?
So if AI mode becomes the default experience, then it definitely is completely different to the traditional 10 blue links landscape. That the algorithm behind the LLM that is powering AI mode is nothing similar to the traditional SEO algorithm. And your approach in trying to rank and be picked up in AI mode is not going to be the same as your traditional SEO experience has been. And if anything, that one website mentality that the majority of the industry has had, where you're just going to be focusing on producing your own website, your content, fixing technical mistakes, building links, building root authority, social shares, all that thing on this one domain name, that's gone out the window because AI mode is taking from multiple sources. And that means in some cases, it could be taking from 20, 30, 50 different pages to build an output on what it's giving back to the user. And again, it might not be a text output. It could be a table. It could be a graphic. It could be a little video. It could be all sorts of things. We don't know yet, but it will be a different output and a different experience to what that traditional blue links is. And all the information that is powering it will be different. So you're going to have to go from a one domain play of doing the blog and doing the on-page and doing all this kind of stuff for that one domain, and instead trying to build consensus from different publishers, trying to reinforce your entity, try and make yourself and the people in your company as seen as the experts behind that niche, and all of those kind of things to make the AI on whatever query the end customer or the beginning customer in a lot of cases is going to be inputting to get you as the output.
So with regards to that there, you're then looking more around holistic marketing being seen everywhere. So SEO is going to become more marketing as a whole.
100%. There's still weighting, right, going on. So like certain sources are going to be higher weighted than others. Maybe, a Wikipedia page is going to mean more to the AI than a podcast episode with 100 followers or something along those lines, right? So there's still weighting in certain areas, and there's still going to be certain work that you can do that is going to have a much bigger size or oversized impact than other work will. But you are still going to, and I also do believe this will eventually be the case, that it is going to be EO, which is everywhere, engine optimization, right?
The best bit of advice I've had in the last few months has been, use the example of, let's say, FatRank, right, who's a lead generation agency in the UK, right? Is they were saying, okay, get the entity attributes. So you go and get like FatRank, PPC lead generation, minus fatrank.com. and seeing what shows up, because that shows you're not allowed to see anything that's on your site. How does it look elsewhere on the website? And then they'll go, okay, FatRank SEO lead generation. And then they basically turn around and go minus fatrank.com. And then it'll be FatRank. And it's all these different kind of like plays of what you do, different services of what you do, minus the domain, and see how powerful that you'll look building the consensus offline, off-page topical maps, building semantic content networks, interlinking them all. People could call it, let's say, tiered link building or whatever they want to call it. But it's trying to build that relevance off your own website. What do you say to that?
I think it's a fantastic idea, because you're understanding how Google is interpreting your brand from a third-party position, especially for AI overviews, right? Because again, if we do move to a position where the AI overviews themselves are going to also demote self-references, then we're going to see those third-party corroborations, those third-party sources become even more important for how the AI overview sees you. So at the minimum, what's already happening is when somebody searches your brand plus reviews, your brand plus, or is this a scam? Is this a good company? All those kind of things. Having that right now is still going to influence how certain customers and certain people see your brand, see your reputation, so that kind of stuff. So it's already important to be doing now. But as we move to that becoming the default experience, that's the only way you're going to be able to get it to have a more positive sentiment about your brand. And we don't want, the worst thing we could have, obviously, is a negative sentiment. But a lot of companies right now have a very mixed sentiment, because some users are saying best company in the world, some users are saying worst company in the world, some blog posts are saying it's number 1, some blog posts are saying the number 10. So you want to have the higher, more positive sentiment that you're going to be building now, the better you'll be when that becomes the default.
And then with regards to SEO predictions for 2027, I know it's all like, it's just guesswork, finger in the air, what's going to happen. None of us really truly know. We can all guess of what's going to happen. But how important is things like this, podcasts or video? Should people be trying to do more video format as well as just web page?
100%, because bear in mind that right now, at least, the self-referencing demotion that you're going to get from being on jamesdooley.com and saying the exact same stuff we're saying here doesn't apply on youtube.com, doesn't apply on spotify.com, doesn't apply on these third-party sources. So you're not going to get that demotion penalty, essentially, for doing the exact same content, the exact same thing, but posting it to a third-party site. So being able to make sure that you have, even from a trust angle, and making sure that Google understands and puts your entity as a real expert and authority in that niche, it's also going to give you a better ability to be able to rank and be picked up for those positive sentiments in the first place.
And then what about social media? So obviously you've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, we've just mentioned that video. So obviously you've got like YouTube and Vimeo, Reddit's all over the place. You've got Quora, you've got the discussions and stuff like that that's showing up in Google search. How important is that going to be? Because now, if we're going to AI visibility and it's not going to be traditional Google search engine results page, which keeps pulling in Reddit, how important is social media in places like Reddit platforms?
I think Reddit is becoming more and more the number one source for Google, for AI, and for, in general, even to some extent, users to get a real user expert opinion. Now, if you can imagine that the r/AI SEO subreddit has got some of the best SEOs in the world and they're commenting on somebody's post, asking them for advice, then obviously the AI, the users, everybody is going to be wanting to see and gather that information. So that's why Reddit has become more and more and more of a priority. And also they're one of the last websites that have got a fully user-backed data set for the AI companies to be ingesting and to be putting into their training data and to be putting into their outputs. So I see Reddit as becoming probably the number one source of the internet for user consensus about certain topics.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone who's watching this, I hope you like the different SEO predictions that Charles Floate is saying for 2027. I'd love to hear your feedback. What do you think is the future of SEO? Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section.